Righty, so I am recording this on December 9th, but it probably won't go up until a little bit later in the next week or possibly even the week after that, depending on how good content is with the new patch. But I am pleased to say that if we go to my box right now, we are at 9,999,858. And what that means is that if I go to Bond, per se, and I equip him with some of these extra pieces that I have just taken off other characters for, whatchamacallit, I use some of the new maxed out ultimate equipment gear pieces or tickets. I use those on some of the characters that I use every once in a while that I can't really commit a UR gear set to. I'm pretty sure this will be a big enough increase to get that 200cc. So now we can actually upgrade our account buff. So now we're at 14%. I thought I was going to have to click something in here. That's kind of unfortunate. I was going to check my team CC before and after. But now we're at 14%. So, yeah, finally. I'm really close to getting Constellation of Sloth finished. You can see I'm at 90.35%. This one's actually pretty good. Obviously, like, you get a lot of the upgrades as you're working through it, so it's like a consistent sort of upgrade. From my understanding, if you complete this one completely, I think you get a 1000 cc increase to your characters, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But if you can completely finish Gluttony, which I don't know if anyone has finished Gluttony yet, like even when I have played on Tip's account and it's at 14 million box CC, I'm pretty sure he's still working his way through Gluttony. But if I'm not mistaken, if you can finish your way through the entirety of the Constellation of Gluttony, it gives you 5,000 CC per character. So this one becomes a little bit more expensive, like the orbs in it in this one, and I think all of the previous ones up until this point. The little ones are worth 25, I think. But no, the little ones, yeah. No, it's worth 50? Oh, it's because I have to get this one. Am I not clicking on the right thing? There we go. The little ones are 25 here, and then the big ones are 250, but I can't really, I mean, is that 250? Because, yeah, okay, so it's 50 because of the two small ones. I'm really bad right now. But I am roughly 2,750 GP away from completing this. So, I mean, you get GP pretty consistently, especially when you get new characters, you level them up and everything. I've been working on the box a lot more lately, so we'll kind of go over that a little bit. So I don't think it'll be too long before I finish the Constellation of Sloth, which is kind of nice because you actually get a title for this one. And it's not like I'm a big title guy, but you do get one somewhere down in here. Constellation of Sloth. Oh, it's at the very bottom. So it's a rare title. When you get when you complete the entire constellation, you get this one, which is kind of a cool one. I mean, it just kind of shows where you are in the constellation, I guess. And constellations, I'm pretty sure they're getting reworked in the near future. They said in one of the dev notes that they were going to be redoing them, or just kind of like reworking it a little bit and adding new tiers to it. But it does feel good to finally be at 10 mil. I gotta be honest. So let's go with what I've been working on lately. Lately, I have been doing level ascending, and I've sort of just been powering up every character that's not Liz and Frowdrin, even though these characters are unfortunately already level 60. If you have these characters and you're like, oh, well, I want them to all be, you know, uniform, I want them to all at least be UR or whatever, like, I can understand them being UR, like, sure, but do not level them up past level 1. It makes it so much harder to use the gimmick for these characters, for like the whole like suicide mechanic, because of their passives if you level them up at all. Like it's so much worse. Like having them level 60, they can still survive like some AoE hits and stuff like that in PvP, which is not what you want. So especially in PvE as well, a lot of PvE stuff is a lot weaker than PvP stuff, so it takes forever to get these gimmicks off if you need them for like Tower of Trial stages, or if you're trying to do the, you know, just the Liz suicide strat for PvP teams or whatever. It's way worse. So don't level those up if you haven't already. If you have, my condolences. But I've just been basically going through. As you can see, my box starts at level 70s at the moment, and I actually don't have to go too far down to hit level 80s. So I've just been slowly sort of building up extra pendants and everything like that, working on getting everybody sort of just powered up and pushed up at least 10 levels. So you can see the only character that's level 75 right now is Gustav. I was actually going to power him up to hit 10 mil because I have the materials ready for it, but I forgot that I had those extra pieces of gear that I took off of, I think it was Helbram and Slater, if I'm not mistaken, for a video that I put out last week. Or, well, I guess technically it hasn't even come out yet for me, but by the time this comes out, it should have been last week. But either way, we have quite a few level 80s, but it's actually not as many as I was expecting it to be, because once we get down to here, we actually move into the level 90s. Honestly, all of the level 80 characters that I have are either characters that I don't use at this point, or never felt the need to power up for any specific reason. A lot of the AOT collab characters are in here because they're pretty bad, and unless we get a rerun of that and they get holy relics or reworked or something, they are going to continue to be bad. I don't know, there's just a couple of characters here and there that maybe could be powered up, but they, like this Liz, for example. I do use this Liz, but she's only for time-limited dungeon. I already hit the CC requirement for it. She's in the back line. She's literally just used for her passive. Don't really have any reason to power her up. Thonar, for example, she's level 80. I have completely maxed her out at this point just because I was waiting. I was literally only super awakening her as I got her ultimate levels. But then at some point I was like, okay, she's super close to the end of it. I'll just go ahead and, you know, bite the dust, I guess, and just go ahead and finish her off. But I mean, she just sits in the back line for Belmoth. So yeah, don't really have much reason to use her, or power her up, that is. I very rarely, like, I think I used this Gil Thunder for like one video or something like that. I don't really use King for anything other than like the odd, like, free-to-play showcase for some events and stuff like that. I probably would have powered this Meliodas up by now if he was actually any good. Helbram was a character that I actually gave some of the, like, ultimate tickets to, and it's just because I use him for Guild Boss every now and then for Kelak, but can't really justify spending that much on him, so maybe I'll get around to it eventually, probably at some point. And then, yeah, once we get a little bit further down, it starts to push into, well, there's actually a lot of level 90s, because level 90 was like a big jump, but there's a couple of characters that I still want to power up. I'd like to mess around with this Easton with Escanor at some point. Maybe that will be sometime in the near future. Some of these slime collab characters, like Milim and Biddymaru, are actually really fun units. I'd like to power them up at some point, but I'm being very selective with who I upgrade at this point. New characters come out, I'd like to power up new characters over old characters if possible, unless I just have like a specific video idea and I have the extra materials for it. So that's kind of where that's going. Other than that, I mean, I have a good amount of relics. We can go through my relics in a moment, but once I hit level 100s, which is starting here, I did hit level 95. I'm planning on getting him to level 100 as well, but I just haven't really made the... I have 4 UR pennants at the moment, and I'm hoping that with the new banner that's coming out, which is Christmas Valenti at the time of recording this, if I pull her, and if I somehow get lucky enough to pull Christmas Lilia, I'm making sure that I have the UR pennants ready for those 2 characters. But if I don't pull Lilia, which is very likely, I'll probably end up giving him the other pendant, and then maybe start working on somebody else. But yeah, level 100s are coming along very nicely, I would say. I mean, I don't have like an insane amount of them, but I feel like I have a really good amount, considering I think it's been several months at this point since the OG Demon came out. Which honestly, you only use a certain amount of characters. Like even with where is she? I have Jormungand and Magelda in the level 90s, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here's Magelda, here's Jormungand. The only, like, Creature's Nest unit that I even have level 100 is Red Thonar, because the dogs are so much harder. I just haven't felt the need to actually upgrade those characters yet, so I will do that eventually, but it just wasn't really that big of a priority, I guess. But, I don't know, we can go over the box really quick. I have been doing the consecutive clear a lot on OG Demon and Belmoth, and then because I was powering up the box yesterday to hit 10 million, I'm really low on the smaller demons materials, but once the event goes away, if they get rid of consecutive clear for the bigger demons, I'm planning on just, taking a day each day to summon like 6 of the Howlix demons, 6 of the Gray demons, 6 of the red demons, and doing the consecutive clear on those just to stockpile back up on some materials and start working on the box again once I get some more materials. But yeah, I don't know. We're sitting at a pretty good point right now. I have the 4 UR pendants at the moment. I'm at almost 100 SSR pendants, which is great. I try to stay around that amount just in case, like, because, I make content and everything like that. For me specifically, like, it would be easy for me to be like, oh, okay, like, let me just power up a whole bunch of stuff in the box really quick. But if I do that, then a new character could come out. They could release a double banner for whatever reason. I luckily, whenever the Shield collab came out, I was able to. I had enough materials in the box with 100 pendants, and I was able to scrape together enough on top of that to completely max out 4 new characters. So just in case anything weird and wacky happens, I try to make sure that I have all of the materials that I need to power up multiple characters, just in case there's like a new banner with 2 new units or whatever the case may be in there. So yeah, I'm kind of low on anvils at the moment, just because I do this thing where I normally sort my box like this, but with the first 4 Meliodas that I have, I build gear sets that I can transfer over to new units. So right now I have an attack defense set ready, which I know that defense is not normally a crazy stat that gets used. I do have the crit damage necklace ready. I have an HP defense set. Yeah, this one's completely ready. I don't go super overboard. I just try to make sure that everything's at 2.5% or higher, and then depending on the character that gets it, I will work on hammering out those pieces as I get hammers. I don't think that these are completely done. Yeah, I think I've been working on the HP pieces for these lately, but the top 4 pieces are pretty bad, and then I'm in the process of building a new HP defense set at the moment. So I probably need to get a, well, not her. I need to get a set of earrings for crit damage, and once I do that, I should be able to have a crit damage set ready to throw on any new damage dealer that comes out. But because I know that Valenti is next, I don't really have to worry about that, so I have a little bit more time to sort of build up. Yeah, inventory wise, I'm still at 300 out of 500 possible slots. I never feel the need to actually spend gems on these. Like, spending 40 gems on this overall wouldn't really be that bad, and it would help me a lot with like space, but I feel like I'm pretty good where I'm at. Like, I'm sitting at 176. I'm not like super full on anything. I try to get rid of any extra materials and stuff like that that ends up stacking up that I don't already use. So I don't know. Even my equipment stash is at 145 out of 200, so I could potentially expand that. I think out of anything, I would probably expand the equipment slots first. Just because, when I'm doing gear gacha and stuff like that, it could go a little bit longer, but overall, it's not really that big of a deal. So let me go to PvP really quickly just to check my team CC. I want to say I was at like 320 something. I don't know if it'll be that big of a difference. This is with Gray Demon food. I want to say I was at 322, maybe 323. So that's actually not too bad. This is just the team that I've been using because I've been too lazy to change around since I did my last PvP video. I'm pretty sure I was at like 361 or 362. So not a super crazy increase overall, but then again, I mean, any increase is good. So really can't complain there. I'm pretty sure this is the exact same CC that he already had, so I don't necessarily know if that's helping like individual characters or not. I don't guess it is, because this is increases hero HP by 14%. If there are 2 identical combat class buffs, the buffs with a higher value will be applied. So is this with out CC food or like HP food? This looks a little bit better. I've gained almost I think I've gained at least a full 1000 CC and ungeared, which is definitely good. Which I guess that doesn't make as much sense as I was hoping, I guess, there, because this is a pretty high CC team. Obviously, Bond's not great. Like, if I swap to him, I'm at 219 there. But, I mean, I see people hit 220 and higher at, at the 12 million box CC stuff, and that, I think that's without... Nah, maybe that's not without CC food. I think that's pretty normal. I mean, 219 though, that's really good. But obviously this is not like a great team. Like, I'm not getting any utilization with Zeldris here with this, so I would probably end up swapping back to a better backline. But I don't know. Pretty interesting stuff. Hopefully I'll hit or finish the Constellation soon. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with hitting 10 mil. Don't really have anything else to talk about, so I'm not gonna, I don't know, drone this on any longer than it is. I just wanted to do sort of like a short sort of update box showcase, which this is already 15 minutes, so sorry about that. But either way, I've finally done it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the update. I don't know, let me know what you guys are doing and how your box is coming along, because I'm sure everybody's sort of working on it subconsciously, if not you're actually working on it, because there's not as much for you to do if you're like an in-game player. But yeah, that is it from me. So thanks so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one.